So AIPAC controls most of Congress, but it's so much more than that. It's in the system itself. Let me give you a personal story to explain how this works. I was slated to run a congressional campaign for one of the toss-up districts here in Orange County, California. It's a district that no longer exists because of gerrymandering, but it's still important for you to understand this. This candidate, who was a very nice person, chose me because of my background. I've worked for both a Republican and Democratic member of Congress in Orange County, California, Dana Rohrabacher and Katie Porter. I've also run campaigns, including my own, and so I had plenty of contacts for printers and slates and all the things you need for a campaign. I spent 7 years in both government affairs and as CEO with local realtor associations, and that put me consistently in the same room with all of the big money interests in Orange County, and so I had plenty of contacts. In that race, in order to win, you would have had to win Republicans. And that's why this candidate chose me. I knew the lay of the land, and we were excited to get going. Unfortunately, that's as far as it would go, because Democratic congressional campaigns are almost always run by the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. The DCCC looks at all the swing districts and then decides which candidates they're going to support. And if a candidate doesn't exist in that race that they like, then they'll go and recruit someone. My candidate happened to be one they liked. And usually candidates want their support because these people are just a bunch of pick-me's that want the attention and glamour of politics. And make no mistake, regardless of what Mike Johnson says about their pay, there are lots of advantages and perks. The problem is the second a candidate accepts, they try and completely take over, and usually do. Sometimes there's a rare candidate that will push back hard and want their own people, but it doesn't happen very often. They bring in their own campaign managers, which is usually some dumb shit right out of college from the East Coast. And then that person brings all their D-Trip friends out and they try and run a campaign, usually really badly. But if you are their candidate and you choose to opt out, they will put on the pressure campaign and maybe even pull their support. And so as soon as they found out it was me, and you guys know I'm a little bit of an independent thinker, which probably doesn't help, they threw a fit. The candidate was nice and tried to keep me on by basically demoting me, but I knew what was going on, so I bolted. And if that district would have remained without a different approach, would have gone down in flames, just like every other candidate has against this member of Congress. But the truth is that the D-Trip would rather lose than have candidates veer from their message and talking points, and that's where AIPAC comes in. For decades now, the DCCC and AIPAC have worked in lockstep. So much so that when the DCCC makes their pick, they send it to AIPAC to make sure that their position on Israel is sufficient. And so they're intimately involved with not just funding, but actually picking the candidates. Now, I know many of you get frustrated that I'm no longer a Democrat and that I'm not concerned with a Democratic majority and am more focused on getting as many strong, principled people in as possible. This is why. Because of this system, most members of Congress are not very smart, have very little policy experience, and no political talent. I'm not sure most of them have even taken a course in public speaking. You'd be shocked at some of the basics I've had to teach people. They are only there because they can raise money and they're loyal to who they need to be loyal to. Now, I have many stories and I'm getting more comfortable naming names. So if you've been in politics and you know me,